Welcome back to Tran Fails RimWorld. This is my mod list. People always feel that mods, pre-order DLC, things, all this kind of stuff, if it's below where they feel comfortable playing, they always accuse somebody of cheating. I'm just going to tell you that these mods that I've selected are not changes to the game mechanically. They do make life a lot more convenient and interesting, but they don't change the game mathematically. So I'll explain each of the mods. First off, we've got Core, Royalty, and Ideology. Those are standard official parts of the game. Then Harmony and Hugs Live are, we'll call them foundational mods. They're libraries that the other mods below follow. First up, we've got Camera Plus. This will allow me to zoom in way closer and zoom out a little bit further. Follow me. So there's lots of unofficial mods that I've also downloaded. These are mods meant to run with version 1.3. The official or original version has not been updated, so that's why I'm using these. So Follow Me allows me to automatically have the camera follow or pan after any object that I've selected, including pawns. Remove Weather Overlays. This says that it keeps YouTube from ruining my videos, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that all works, but since it's very well rated, I went ahead and picked that up. Progress Renderer. I was really interested in when I heard about this. This will allow me to, I think, skip through portions of editing and allow you to skip through portions of where I'm not actually doing much of anything. Basically, this is like what I think is the ultimate time-lapse mod. I've played with, I tinkered with it a little bit before starting this recording, so I have some idea of how to use these mods, but I'm not an expert. So if I mess up on some of this stuff, well, there you go. It's still a whole process I'm learning. But I'm already 2 days late, going to be 3 days late to uploading videos. So I'm gonna make up for that by uploading extra videos for a little while. Rim HUD. This allows me to see more information on the bottom left of the screen when I select a person. So it'll tell me their skills or what their passions are. So it gives you a lot more information in that real estate. Draftee's Weapons. This allows your pawns to have the weapons show right below them. I think it's incorporated with LTO colony groups, but if it wasn't, at least with these two, it does something. So I don't know. Again, I'm not very well experienced in these mods, so actually I'm just going to move this over here. So colony groups allows me to, I guess, if you play games like StarCraft, you can select a group of individuals and then hotkey them to something like Control-1, and then every time you hit 1, it'll bring that group up. Control being the save this group button. So if I hit Control, then 5, every time I hit 5, I'll get that group. Colony groups will allow me to, for example, when I have a group of 25 pawns, which is what the save I'm about to load, it has something like that. I don't have to try to figure out, like, okay, which of these guys have fighting ability, which of these guys don't. I'll just hit a button and I'll get all my fighters. Color-coded mood bar. I don't really think this is too necessary, but for the purposes of allowing the viewer to have a better understanding of what they're watching, I think having a color-coded mood bar makes it easier for you to see at a glance for all the people that you're watching or seeing. I don't know, but I've seen a lot of other playthroughs or videos of people with this, so I'm going to go ahead and enable it too. More planning. This just basically gives me more colors for the planning selection tool. Colorblind materials. I'm not colorblind, but I think that this makes the things that you can mine out pop out more. It's not because you can miss it or anything. It's just they all look the same to me. It's not. Maybe I am colorblind, but they really do look very similar. So this makes all the items, all the jade and steel, not look like some sort of just random gray, because you've already got slate, granite, limestone, and then you add steel and all this stuff. It's just, come on. Dubs Mint minimap. My map will not have the terrain, just to make it easier for me to see the layout of the cell at one glance, but there's going to be a minimap and you can move it around. I haven't decided where it should be, the bottom left, top left, so by default it's in the top right, so that's probably where I'll leave it. Hair and hats. I can have these combined. RPG style inventory. This doesn't give you any more inventory slots. It just allows you to see where the game displays those items. So normally it would just be in a laundry list. It would be something like helmet, then shield pack, then pants, then shirt. Just maybe like in the order they picked it up in. Realistically, this just basically says, okay, helmets will always be in the top slot. So it does take up more space, but it is a little more user-friendly, we'll say. Bionic icons. This doesn't add bionic parts or anything, though I think it is compatible with other bionic mods. I don't have any of those. Again, I didn't want to change the game mathematically or mechanically. All the stuff here is just basically, we'll say it's the vanilla engine, but with some makeup. So anyways, the bionic icons look like a bunch of pizza boxes. Like every bionic item, whatever item you have, whether it's an arm or heart or lung, looks like a pizza box. Bionic icons at least gives you some sort of representation. So like this, even though it's an arm, could be field hand. So, but at least they're not all 30, 40 prosthetics look the same thing as a kidney. Trade helper. This allows, I don't have like too much experience with this. I played with it a little bit, but it does make it a little easier to see on the right side of the screen. So in the screen itself of the game, it's going to be over here, but you can see in this picture, it's going to be to the right of the trade menu. It's going to tell you very specifically what you're buying and what you're selling. Apparently, I'm not the only person confused by the trade menu. It's, I don't know. Like, I can run it, I can manage it, but still, there's something about it that just seems off to me. This is the unofficial version of Numbers, which is amazing. Out of all the mods I have here, so far, this is the one I've sat and looked at the most. I'm not an expert at it by any means, but this allows me to look at all my colonists at a glance and have the actual useful information spat back at me. So here we have, as you can tell which, you can look at, for example, all the animals on the field. You can look at all the enemies on the field. You can see what kind of equipment everybody has at a glance and all this stuff. It's very customizable as well. This is an add-on that allows you to look at traits placed into the number. So this is DLC for the DLC, essentially. So this add-on allows you to have another function in the Numbers mod to see their attributes. So for example, if they're pyromaniac, maybe you don't want them. Maybe they could meet an unfortunate accident outside your base. Interaction bubbles. This kind of gets a little spammy, but it allows, when your character's talking, they just have these little icons that show up. It's like a heart or a mouth or something. It's not very informative. If you wanted to see what they had to say to each other, like what that means, then you'd have to open up their social log. For example, the missus was playing this game, and she thought her army of guinea pigs wanted to bite somebody. It looks like a wolf next to a flesh. Turns out, when we looked at the social log, that means nuzzling. So, but we thought it was funnier to imagine this army of guinea pig wanted to bite people. So interaction bubble, well, actually, you can't really see it, but it says something like Mike and, I don't know, Dunce chatted about games. I don't know, I can't read that. Gunsmiths. Yeah. So basically, that's what it would say in the social log. It just basically spits it out into a cartoon bubble in the real world, or in the game world. Speak Up changes those bubbles into flavor text. I don't think it adds any like new mechanics, new dialogue options. But for example, if someone wanted to comment about how dark it was, it'll still say something like, "Man, it's really dark in here." Another guy will say, "You should watch your step." It sounds like a threat, but I really think they're just saying that it's really dark in your room. So this gives flavor text to the social information we just talked about. I was really on the fence about adding this, but after a while, just rebuilding because I'm getting better at the game, and as that happens, as I also find more resources, I want to replace stuff, and this just makes it easier. As far as I know, you get all the resources that you normally would get back from deconstructing. So if, for example, you deconstructed a wall, you might get maybe like 2 or 1 wood back. It should still do that here, but the thing is, it just does it faster. So rather than deconstructing it and then waiting for it to happen and then coming back to it and then telling you to build it out of granite, you don't have to do that. Just say like, "Hey, here's a wooden wall, make it out of granite." So then they'll go over, deconstruct it, and build a granite wall. Quality builder. I was also on the fence about this one. Actually, replace stuff, quality builder, and auto cut blight, as well as colony groups, are ones I just added. I hadn't had any practice with these, or at least not any substantial. We'll say like 20 minutes. But quality builder, I noticed when I was trying to build beds for like my 20 odd colonists that it was getting obnoxious to say, okay, this bed is an awful bed. Let me just dismantle that. Then I'll go through and build another stack of 50 beds, look at all of them and say, okay, these 20 beds are poor condition. These 5 beds are excellent. So rather than looking at every bed, I was just like, hey, here, I want you to build this bed and deconstruct it and rebuild it until it is good or excellent or whatever. It doesn't have to be bed. It can be anything. Oh, and this is not like a hack either, like as in like you don't get free resources if you build a bed, and I don't remember what it costs. Let's say a bed costs 50 wood, and then you deconstruct it and you're supposed to get 30 wood. Again, these are just hypothetical numbers. I don't know what the real numbers are. Then it will consume, after giving you back your refund, it will consume another 50 wood. So it's not like it's a guarantee you will get that quality. It just automates that process. Because at some point, I really was, when you're dealing with 3 pawns, the game management, that seems to be the meat of it. When you have like 20 pawns, it becomes more of a city management simulator. So you want to focus on other things besides like, oh geez, I have 15 awful beds and 3 normal beds and 2 excellent beds. Like that's not fun to look at every single bed and see like, oh gee, to increase my rest efficiency, I better replace these beds. And then this one I just added. I don't know if it works the way I think it will, but this will, when you get a blight warning, automatically toggle all the blight to be cut. It doesn't cut it for you. It just tells your colonists that you want it cut. If it would have just let me double click the blight and then cut it, I wouldn't have bothered looking for a mod. But I don't like having to just click on each plant or try to group up the plants like this. If this were an actual harvest, you couldn't just box this and cut it, because then you'd cut some of your actual worthwhile plants. You'd have to click on these 3, cut it, and then this and this, cut it. It's like, come on, just let me double click it. Well, that is all the mods I've enabled. All right, let's hop into the game. Here we are. This is going to be the final day of Jamestown in the Empire of Bananor. Don't worry about all the colonists I have. Half of them are guests anyways. Don't worry about my base layout, because I've tried to think of a good way to start a new match without making people feel like they wasted time watching the first 5 episodes. The last episode did not do too well, so I knew I needed to do something to change things up. But what I've decided is, going through this quest right here, the Archonexus allows you to start a new map with 5 people. We'll hit this once we finish this fight right here. So the 5 people we'll bring, we'll start with Stench, Steve, and Zima. Those are the first 3 original colonists, so I think having watched the first few episodes, you kind of have a good idea of who they are. Next ones we'll bring are Trobo. So we got 2 snipers over here, but they're not really in any practical position to snipe. This guy is here to smoke out, and here's a person ready to cast psi abilities, but she doesn't have enough focus right now, so she's gonna have to hold off this group on her own. They just arrived literally just now, so I thought this would be a good time to say as my outro for Jamestown. Because originally she was gonna, let's see here, Berserk Pulse, but she just does not have the juice for that. So we'll go ahead and put them this way, and make sure this door stays open. Yeah. Okay. So the raiders, they've shown up in 3 different groups: 25, 23, and 16. Now these are sappers, so they will try to tunnel through, at least for the most part. I think they won't tunnel here because there are guns here. So that's why I have guns all over the map, because I'm trying to keep them from attacking certain points. So it does work on this side. So there are turrets here to keep them from... Those are all turrets. These are all turrets that I've selected. I don't really expect them to I'm not worried about my wood pile here. I just do that so that the sappers don't enter this side of the area. Over here is my main line. These rocks slow down enemies, and I wanted to work around this water. Sure, I could build outside the water or make a little maze like a tower defense game, but I thought this would be a good way. Kind of more natural too, given that I'm just learning how to play the game. So now let's go and talk about some of the base before I finish off talking about the remaining 2 mystery colonists who will join me. I'm going to be talking about the base not because we care about what the base is like, talk about the base so you can see what I've learned since the last time we met. So I had originally been intending to build towards the geothermal power plants, which I did do successfully. And I had the bright idea that I was going to build a factory next to it, because they're all going to be hooked up. Well, that is true. Unfortunately, something like the harpsichord requires 250 wood. Since a stack of wood can be 75, I've had people run over here with a stack of wood, drop it off, and then go to bed, and then a hauler will come by and take the wood away, and just start over in the next morning. That's because my warehouse is all the way over here, because I wanted it out of the way. So in the future, I'll definitely put my factory and warehouse much closer together. This is my freezer. I just kind of kept extending it until it became 3 tiles wide, or 3 squares, 3 rooms wide. And every storage area pretty much has an orbital beacon. This orbital beacon is special because it does not have a roof. Because it doesn't have a roof in the central tiles, the game tries to prioritize my rewards in this area rather than anywhere on the map. Now, they're still unroofed landing here, but if they landed anywhere else on the map, they'd still be unroofed too, so I don't actually lose anything, and this is actually pretty central for me to find stuff. This is my most central location, and we pretty much kept the shape of the church. I did upgrade the walls. I put a nice fancy carpet in here. This is not marble tile, I just didn't have enough marble. This is granite, slate, marble, and cloth. See, these are monuments, which I turn into storage rooms, and once the quest expires, I can dismantle these, but otherwise they serve as okay storage rooms. There are tables everywhere because I learned that your pawns may even just go wandering around, like out here at one time. He was not hunting, he just wandered off, decided to eat, and then -3, ate without a table. Thanks, game. There's a table right here. So that's why I have this humongous array of tables all over the map. I'll probably build more of my base like this, where this counts as the actual room, because it's walled off here and walled off here. This serves as a nice choke point, and this allows me to keep temperature as well as have my crafting table right next to the warehouse. So this was kind of a later addition. I just sort of squeezed that in here. This was my original hospital because I wanted to build it next to the crypto sleep caskets. I was thinking, oh, I'll be clever and use these crypto sleep caskets to hold my dying and severely wounded. I never had to use them once. I don't think I don't know why. Maybe I'm just not good enough that I need to use them. But whatever the case is, I've never had to use it. So this hospital actually goes mostly unused. The hospital that gets used a lot is my field hospital right here. This is one everybody goes to because it's closer to them. So even though this facility is not as good, there's not as much medicine and stuff, to the pawns it's all the same. Here's a bed, here's medicine, that's fine. They don't even care about the medicine, they just probably go to the closest hospital bed. And speaking of which, this is my tribal area. An anima tree that does not like that I have walls around it. The issue with the anima tree is if you have artificial structures, it lowers your psi boost or psi focus gain. It does not lower the anima grass gain. So these are the 2 things that happen when you meditate. You get psi focus, which is your mana, and you get anima grass, which is your ingredients for leveling up. So I just cared about the anima grass. I did not care about meditating because they're going to be meditating to grow so much grass that they're going to be maxed out typically anyways. On the minimap, my colonists are blue arrows, enemies are red circles, my animals are green pulses, and wild animals are just green circles. Let's see, I think that's about everything we need to cover between transitions. So aside from Zima, our markswoman, Steve, our brainiac, and Stench, our, I don't know what he is really. He's kind of our handyman, I guess. We are bringing along Trobo, who's also over here. She's our Psicaster. I gave her every Psi trainer I could get my hands on. I spent all my wealth on the Psi trainer, on all these abilities, on Psi trainers and cybernetics. So she has my Psi training abilities. There's no real reason other than the fact that she had the option to learn how to become a Psicaster through the tree, because only people with natural meditation focuses can use the tree or meditate and grow grass from the tree. So she became my Psicaster as a result of that. That's really all she's there for. Trigger Happy makes her a possible grenadier in the future. But realistically, I gave her a sniper rifle just for now, even though her shooting is horrible. I gave her a sniper rifle just for now so that she could hang back in battle and still be a participant somehow. The last person is Genevieve. She's going to be basically a new mascot, our new leader. She is a Baroness at this moment. She hasn't quite reached Countess yet, but I think it was only a matter of time. She is super immune, which I don't really care about. That's not a point. The reason I like her is that she has a lot of passions, and she's ascetic. Because she's ascetic, she can level up the other magic using way. So there's 2 ways. You can be a tribalist, basically, and use the tree, as we discussed about the anima grass, or you can gain levels as a noble. When a person gains levels as a noble, they get very picky about what they want to use, unless they're an ascetic. If they're an ascetic, then they don't care about throne rooms and bedrooms as much. So I did save and load for her abilities. These are all abilities that get added into like 1.2 or something, because I looked at a Wikipedia for this, and these were not original royalty or original sidecast abilities. These are all ones I wanted. The last one I think I want Berserk Pulse or something. But we got Word of Trust, which makes it easier to recruit prisoners. Word of Joy, which reduces consciousness but increases mood. Word of Love, which increases the target's social parameters towards another target, towards the third target, I guess. Word of Serenity eliminates a mental break. And Word of Inspiration is amazing. So I keep getting stuff like Taming Inspiration. I want creative inspiration so I can build things. So she is essentially a lot like Zima in a way. Zima has medical, intellectual, and shooting melee, whereas she has social in crafting, so but shooting and melee. So she definitely has a role in battle and outside of battle. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab Eminent. Where's Eminent in this group? Here it is. He is currently equipped with the triple rocket launcher, which is a single use. Since we're not keeping the resources of this base, we're going to go ahead and use up all our supplies during this battle. Let's go and send you over there. Let's go and send this whole group actually over here. Yeah, let's do that. And these two can stay there. With the Genevieve and Zima on this side, they can pretty much handle everything. So here's how my kill box works. Everybody has a different one, and this is not an efficient kill box, I know that. But again, I'm just learning the game. This is my first playthrough here. I threw as all the rocks in the game, and I later built this. And if it gets blown up, it's fine. It's cheap stuff. It's all made of wood, right? Well, the rocks slow down the enemy. That's what it's there for. But the only thing I'd change is, or what a lot of people probably do, is they probably make a tower defense kind of game where the enemies just walk back and forth or something, and that's fine. I didn't know realistically if that was the way I wanted to go. For the gibbet cages I threw in front, I was thinking, hey, this would be cool. I use Terror. Terror only applies to your slaves. It does not apply to the enemy. So my characters are getting a mood debuff for this, but the enemy does not care. They don't hang around long enough to care. So, all right, let's go ahead and begin the battle. So we have, while the enemies moves in, we have a area called Interior, which is just basically all these areas I can kind of keep safe. When they break through the walls, this giant area is a field of farms and animal pasture. It's not very safe. This area was completely barren before as I started throwing monuments down. So I got 2 quests for monuments in rapid succession, so I just slapped them down there. And I started trying to grow Devil Strand before winter, and I didn't make it. This is my first Devil Strand, and I didn't do well. Alright, here we are. Yeah, I've also littered the rocks with traps. So yes, they are moving very slow on these rocks. So this side is going to be safe. We don't need to watch this side, but it is going to be a bloodbath for the enemy. This side's where the action's going to happen. group is fleeing now, so just this group remaining. Alright, there we go. Let's go rescue it. Eminent. Dude, you can just drop him right here, can you not? Wellness and medical. Oh, outside the allowed area. Okay. There we go. Will you do that now? Place Eminent in sleeping spot. We're gonna switch to Doctor Care, but no medicine. And we're gonna go ahead and tend him without medicine. He'll be okay. He was badly hurt, but this is fine. He'll get proper care later. Let's go in ranged and undraft. Yeah, that did that right. But he's still tending to you. That's fine. So that was the battle for Jamestown. We'll have to repair this wall. Well, they will have to repair this wall. We're not going to worry about it. So let's talk about what we will worry about. Looking at the quest, you can see here that Southern Unethalor, that's one of the factions, is looking to expand their territory and are interested in taking over Jamestown with all its wealth and technology. If you can increase your total wealth to 350,000, they will take the settlement. In trade, they offer you a part of the map showing the location of an ancient Archonexus. The Archonexus is thought to be a conduit through which an architect's superintelligence influences the physical world. If you could invoke its power, what happens next could go beyond physical reality. Southern Unethalor only has one piece of the map. The other parts are held by other factions. If you accept their offer, the Outlanders will take possession of Jamestown, including all items, people, and recorded research. They'll bring 5 of your people and 5 of your animals to anywhere you want on the planet to start a new colony. Later, you can trade with others for the final 2 parts of the map. So yes, we're gonna do that. One thing to note is, since we can only take 5 people, and we listed Steve, Stench, and Zima, as well as Trouble and Genevieve right here. So I've also, one of the reasons why I didn't use that medicine is because if you look at his gear, I've managed to equip him with 3 herbal, 3 medicine, and 3 glitter world. So if I use that now, I'd have to go and collect it again. We're not going to worry about that. He has all the finest care money can buy. Well, maybe not money, because we have all these parts here. Here's how the cybernetics, so I could tell what I could use. We skill trainers, which I managed to consume, and some side trainers. I don't want to use these yet, so these are just spare side trainers. I think if you use, say, Word of Joy when your character reaches that appropriate level, they don't get an ability. So I probably would want Word of Joy, but we'll leave that option open. So I probably will save load till I find the right abilities. Okay. Lastly, if you were to visit this place again, which can only be done by attacking it, it turns into a random town with none of the same people. So it doesn't matter. It just turns into a new settlement. That's it. So even though I spent all this time building it, we're going to say goodbye to it. So now we start to the episode proper. We're going to bring 5 people. Genevieve. Oh, I want you to know that Daiki and Alimba are my leaders of the base. They're both like gigolos, but they have high social ability. So that's why I picked them as leader. One's like the moral compass and one's the society leader. And they can't do any hauling or anything like that. In fact, the only thing they can do is research and art. And they don't even have passions in those. So they're very useless aside from being my leaders. Alright, so we have Genevieve, Stench, Steve, Zima, and Trouble. Those are the 5 people. And we can choose up to 5 animals. We'll choose the last stallion and the last 4 mares. Whoops, that's not... It's not even in order? Oh, it's in numerical order because 30 comes before 4. Fine game, fine. There we go. So this will give me 1 male and as many females as possible to carry, so I can breed a new stack of horses. When I started this map, I started with Muffalos. I had a lot of them. I had like Muffalo 113. And eventually they just ate all the grass on the map. So these are the 5. Let's go and begin. Looking forward to this. So now we get to pick where we start. Now this was the ancient complex existed for the religious quest. I never did it because I was going to save it for footage, but I really figured we should go on to a new colony. So we're going to miss out on that, but we'll always have more relic quests in the future. Unfortunately, no minigun for us. I can pick anywhere in the map for the game to say that this was where the Archonexus was. You can see here that I wasn't actually near most of the things near me were enemies, so it didn't really help too much. So let's try to pick somewhere where a little more friendly, I suppose. Unfortunately, I don't like the color scheme, but the light blue, for example, you would think is hostile. I mean, or friendly, I mean, it's hostile. Red is definitely hostile. That's the people who just attacked us. So we need to find places that like us, and that'd be something like this orange group. Or these Imperials. Let's see here. So I'm trying to find something with a lot more orange and or something. Well, here's a bunch of oranges. I don't know if it's really that important though to settle in a very hot part of the world. All right, how about here? That looks decent. It's kind of in the middle of everything. That might not really be a good idea, but it's got one faction of everybody near me. So yeah, let's do this. So in terrain, we can see that we have ability to forage berries, and there's limestone and slate. I get used to limestone. Everything in that Jamestown was limestone pretty much. So let's go ahead and go here. Now I can create a new religion, which we will go ahead and do. So let me cut out for now, and we'll be right back. All right, so we have theodynamism, and the reason I'm going to pronounce it dyna or dynam is because the adjective is dynamic, and the member noun is dynamite. All of this was randomly generated. I kind of corrected the punctuation or grammar of the narrative, but that was also randomly generated. So we got this was random generated name and title. I picked what would likely work for being successful. So basically, to have a thriving community, whatever it takes to be the goddess of life. And if we look at the story, you can see that Dynam really gave no craps about the enemy. Dynam made all men and women from a great mold, and those that deviated she threw into fire so that believers could live in harmony. Though many adventurers moved against her, Dynam prevented them easily, for she was the goddess of life. Across the vast stellar distances, Dynam's will sustained the life of mankind against the void. So we do what it takes to survive. Insect meat, I don't really care about, but I'm just going to say, since there's only seems to be bonuses, I'm going to get plus. I'm assuming that there's no penalties for not having insect meat, so because it didn't say. I assume also there's no penalties for research very fast, such as you do other things slow. It doesn't say anything like that, so I'll just take these bonuses while I can. Diversity of thought. I get penalties for having people in my community that aren't my religion, but since we can kind of control that, we're just going to go ahead and take that one hit against the one colonist we bring in, or however many colonists we bring in at the time, and convert them by force. Respected if guilty. I've never actually executed anybody, but maybe we'll do that now. Now that people we can do what it takes to survive, such as cannibalism if we had to, though I don't really expect we'll be doing that. We will, however, be chopping out organs. Where is that? Because I think it's ridiculous that you can't take organs from your enemies. I don't know. I guess that's just me. So I don't want to use any drugs in the game, but the social aspect, people really, the historical post-orthodoxy really disliked drugs, and that made a lot of people unhappy with each other, especially if someone like came in with flake or something. I don't really like the drugs because I think there's a lot of downsides. I mean, sure, you might use them for combat or something, but they break the rules and just start eating your resources. Come on, we already have enough problems with food. Now you're going to add chemicals to that mix. Work drive tripled. You can't do anything with that in collectivist meme. Apostasy. I think what this global certainty loss factor means is that I lose this stat much less. So for example, if we have apostasy disapproved, which is less than abhorrent, we see that global certainty loss factor is 80%. So I think what this means is you would lose this at 80% of the normal rate. And if someone left your religion, that'd be minus 15. However, if it's abhorrent, if someone left your religion, that'd be minus 30. So it's a bigger mood swing, but I don't plan on having anybody that I care about leave our religion. So I think what this means, global certainty loss factor, is I will only lose 40% of my religion if I were ever to have to lose anything. Can't change anything about blindness, because we're not blindsided. Can't change anything about corpses. Unfortunately, that doesn't make sense. We can do cannibalism, we can even sell organs, but we can't look at a corpse. Alright, I can't change anything, because we're not a supremacist, raider, cannibal, or virtue. Even if I change this to cannibal preferred, it wouldn't still let me do that. So that cannibalism is specifically about this meme here. I'm gonna go ahead and go to acceptable. Again, I don't really plan on doing it, but there it is. It'll be doable if necessary. Can't do anything with fungus. I don't really know what the consequences are if your characters find each other cheating on each other, so we're just gonna stay with strict. Marriage name doesn't seem to matter, so we'll just put usually man's. Nutrient paste, can't change that. Scarification, I can change that, but having your characters scarred, kind of want to heal them because it reduces your mobility in the game. So for example, I think Trobo has a frostbitten toe, and that she moves at like 97% of the speed as a normal person. Skull spike. Since it doesn't, again, there doesn't look like there's any penalty for it, I can either have disapproved, meaning if I see a skull spike, I lose morale, or if I just plant skull spikes around, then I get morale. Hopefully this does not give me an observed corpse penalty, but even if it did, I would just want to put it with these skull spikes. Again, it doesn't tell me that there's any negatives, so we'll go with it. Slavery is acceptable. If I pick honorable, I will actually lose morale if I don't have slaves. So I don't know if I want slaves realistically. I mean, I guess it's a good. I don't know, because Daiki, he eventually became my team leader, but he just kept doing prison breaks all the time. But maybe it just means that I didn't have enough skull spikes and steel gibbets everywhere or whatever, gibbet cages. However, since I think that's adding a little bit too much on my plate, we're just gonna go with acceptable, and if I get around to it, I get around to it. If not, we don't worry about it. Same thing for organ use. I don't see there's any disadvantages to having that enabled. So, although this is probably more for the narration purposes, I'm trying to pick things that the colony will say like, okay, well, the boss, the invisible sky god, Tran or Dynam, told us to do it, we're just gonna do it. So I can't add any specialist roles, unfortunately. I'm not sure I would, but a specialist role, what that would result in is giving your character the they can only do that thing. So for example, if someone was a research specialist, he could only research. I guess it would suck if he researched everything in the game. But yeah, that's all he could supposedly do. We have our leader and moral guide. I kind of want to, for gaming purposes, make the hat being worn a broad wrap or head wrap or visage mask or tribal headdress for everybody, because that combined that can be the same thing as the moral guide, and it can also be the same thing as preferred apparel. We went ahead and went with 6 different rituals. Otherwise, I might just go like 6 social festivals and can start anytime. But for the purposes of some sort of narrative, we're going to have each of these start as the first of each month. So the first of Jugust, we can burn a ritual item that we build, and in turn, we will get goodwill from any nearby bases. We can also burn a Christmas tree in December, and that will give us psi focus. Otherwise, in April-May, we can dance party, and that will give us mood for doing so. Now, we can choose what these are. So, for example, the additional reward can be Goodwill, Recruit, or Ancient Complex. I picked one of each thing. I could make them all recruits if I wanted to. Dynamic Celebration. In addition to the ritual of giving normal mood bonuses, if it's beautiful or unforgettable, we'll discover the location of an Ancient Complex nearby. That seemed to be the best fit for trying to discover an Ancient Complex. Not that I really know much about it. I checked one out. It was not worth it. I found like 6 medkits or something. Regular medkits, not even Glitter World medkits. Social Festival. Like their collective jubilee that we had in the previous religion. This just lets us get a free recruit, 50% chance if it's fun or unforgettable. We went ahead and selected our items. I don't know what a charged lance or charged rifle are, but we went ahead and picked those as relics. Because we're going with the technology theme, we went ahead and decided that even though I'm very unlikely to have these items at all. By the time you find, for example, a Persona Zeus Hammer, you probably have all your moods taken care of. So realistically, I should have Noble Despise, or Noble Neolithic. That way, when I have like knives and clubs at the beginning of the game, when I have mood problems for no impressive rec room and all that, that's when it would matter. But we're staying with at least some semblance of a story here. Venerated animals, I don't really want to deal with this because it seems like there's a bunch of negatives. I know I just talked about having a story, but realistically, having animals on your map just seems like a recipe for disaster, so we're not going to have that. Preferred apparel, I really don't care, but I figured I'd just pick something, and I think berets look the coolest out of everything here. Maybe cowboy hats. I wonder what happens if we pick both. We should have cowboy hats for boys and berets for girls or something. I think that'd be kind of cool, but that would just mean I'd have multiple items everywhere, and that would be a pain to deal with. We're just going to deal with that. Finally, I enabled pretty much all the hairs and beards in game. Alright, so that's our religion. This is the first religion I've made. Maybe it's a really bad one. This is not meant to be like, you know, the world supremacist religion or anything. It's just a religion I wanted to enable to allow me to do whatever I saw fit. Because I was really disappointed when I found out that just having a slave made my people unhappy. That slave eventually developed to become the leader of my colony. I mean, I was not mistreating him by any means. So I did shoot out his ears, but that's because he tried to stab me to death both times. With the first Archonexus map part securely recorded, you prepare for the next step of your journey. Anarchist, I don't know who that is, told you of the cataclysm that destroyed this world. Humans built a great thinking machine here centuries ago, turned against the people, and there was a great war. Only a few were left when the machine transcended and fell dormant. The map to the Archonexus has 3 parts, and you hold one of them. And Donuia and Retro Union, who are both enemies, by the way. See, this is how it should be. This color scheme, or whatever it is, like, if I look at the map, they're only Retro Union. I think Retro Union's red, and Donuia or something is like blue. Anyways, I know they're hostile. And Retro Union also each hold parts of the map. They'll trade their parts to you for a wealthy new colony and all of its recorded research. The next map part is encoded in a very strange way. In order to interpret it, you must first learn more about archotechnology by studying the structure here. It's time to get building. You know, you're gonna let me right inside it. My people immediately get a malice for being there. So, who says that? Is that Trobo saying that? Or Genevieve? Yeah, Genevieve says, "He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a man who is alive." Very, very noble of you. Stench says, "I'm glad we have comfortable furniture around here." No, we don't have anything around here, Stench. Alright, let's take a look. Steve also married somebody, but she randomly goes to another faction as a result. So previously she went to Andonuia during a test, so she was hostile. This time she's in the Empire of Elpis, that's just fine. So I don't know if we'll ever find Esme again. Stench is married to Zima. And that's it. Trouble has no relationships, and Genevieve has Trouble and Genevieve have no relationships. Let's go ahead and I know there are mods for this, but at least in the current version of the game I have without mods, I can just right-click the allow and unforbid everything on the map. Do I still have all my possessions, by the way? Yes, I do. So I have my Glitter World medicine, and herbal medicine, as well as my fine meal. Let's take a look at my assignments. Yeah, this is still the same. So I had her set to fine because she's an ascetic. We're gonna go ahead and set that. Set that. And I had these enabled as 4 just so I could have them build up experience in anything while I was rounding up making my last arrangements for Jamestown. So give me a second to fix this up. Now we're back. Went ahead and assigned everybody to a role just so they can get anything done that is needed, because I only have these 5, and I figure if these are our solid 5, maybe they'll even go with us to a new colony. Though I don't know if I'll be doing that again. So I don't expect me to. Well, I mean, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. If the people want me to do the Archonexus, and then they'll do it that way. This is with the planning mod how I plan on having things. So, for example, our sun lamps are here. So this will be our greenhouse. I did not make a greenhouse last game, and so I start trying it. I've also made more curvy walls. It doesn't really look very good right now, so I might install the diagonal wall mod. This will be my freezer area. So for medicines, let's see, leather and meals, meat and vegetables. Rec hall, barracks, kill box, royal bedrooms, and prison rooms. Hospital, workbench. And so plenty of available space in the future, and currently here's the pasture. What they're going to work on at the beginning is they're going to first work on getting these beds up. Let's go ahead and head over to Genevieve. And because she has the high-level social, planet leading master, we are going to make her director of Dynam. This will, and this is available because we have 3 dynamites. Anyways, this will allow her to, I think, convert prisoners to our religion much faster. So that's why we're going to do that. She doesn't get a mood bonus, but she doesn't get a mood penalty either for not having a hood and cape. I don't know who the leader should be. Let me see here. What does the leader really do? The leader gives you work drive, accuse, but I probably also need social for that as well. Nobody here really has social, so we'll probably have to import someone else to be the leader. Alright, let's go ahead and begin. Oh, let's forbid these. I don't want you worrying about that. And let's tell you to work. Transport pod crash. A forester named Trophim is crashing in a transport pod nearby. If he survives the impact, you'll be badly wounded. He's not affiliated with any faction. You could rescue him and hope he joins freely, or capture him for recruitment or slavery purposes. So now that we are of a religion that is okay with slaves, we are probably going to try just seeing if slaves are worthwhile. Apparently, even if they can't do dumb labor, they can still haul up when they're a slave. Alright, so first off, you will bleed out in 19 hours. You don't have any permanent damage. Can I see your market value? Yeah. Apparently I can see your market value right now. I don't know if this is because you're wounded or what. Character quality times 10%. I'm not sure how that determines character quality. Let's see here. He's historical post-orthodoxy, so our previous religion. Formerly Neo-Euphorium. He unfortunately he's got 3 bad things. He's incapable of firefighting. He is I guess this is not. Does this not actually give you an immune system penalty? Because it just says medical plus 4. You are a man, but you really also hate men. Alright, whatever. Do you hate yourself? Okay. Anyways, I don't know. We will probably turn you into a slave just because we can. Maybe harvest some organs out of you. But we'll see if you even make it. So first, we're gonna have to toggle you as someone. Rescue him. Oh, we don't. Why do we need an? Oh, yeah, alright. Structure. No furniture? Yeah, here we go. Let's plop that down right next to you. Make this medical. So let's go ahead and clean up the map a little bit. We're going to take this and lower it down to 10% opacity, so you don't have to stare at that the whole time. Using the numbers mod, we can see what our current crew is doing. So digging, hauling limestone chunks. Really need you to haul. Where are you hauling that from? Oh, probably from the grove zone. Alright, you... We'll say doctor care, but no medicine. Defaults. Yeah, let's speed it up a little bit now that we're getting underway. Are you done tending? Tell me you're done tending. Yeah, you're fine. Okay, when you wake up, we'll go ahead and get you... Need material wood. Apparently we don't have enough wood yet. What have we been spending wood on? Anything in particular? Have I been wasting it somewhere? Maybe I just haven't been chopping enough. was the first day of spring. Also, on the day that we left Jamestown, that was her birthday. Profim joined. Okay, well, you joined of your own free will, but I don't really know how much use we have for you. That's fine, though.